times we had. I see it now, I see it now. Real love, now I'll break through to show to you that I'm more good than I am bad. I'll work it out, I'll work it out. And I'll be somewhere that you need me, and I'll be holding my breath, waiting for you to show. attitude. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued because of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, just wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, XL, and Hoover, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah, I got the juice. Yeah, I got the juice. Big game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing so.
I don't wanna see you while you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, I still spin inside your orbit. Yeah. You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, cause I'm floating in your orbit. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. It's my luck, push me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. It's my luck, push me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, please, you understand, I wanna stay. I wanna see you while you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, still spinning inside your orbit. I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, cause I'm floating in your orbit. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. It's my luck, push me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, please, you understand, I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna walk away.
Welcome back, everybody, to Conference Esports Valorant. We are in the last day of this group, heading into the bigger tournament, the bracket tournament, on Saturday. And what a spicy matchup we have. My name is Pulsable. Alongside me is the best way to enter a building, Door. How you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good. I feel like we couldn't have gotten a better matchup
Honestly.
for today's match. I mean, UC Irvine, UTD, they're both coming out of the earlier October brackets, each with one semifinal to their name, each with one relative bomb out in either the first or the second round. And this is really their A, shot at redemption, and B, I mean, it's a shot at the upcoming grand finals bracket, which is even more tempting than it's ever seemed.
Oh yeah, basically the way this works is this is the round robin, 3 rounds. We're in the 3rd one. Both these teams currently 2-0. So the winner, 3-0, easy ride to that bracket on Saturday. But the loser, 2-1, definitely potential, actually a guarantee that another team will end up 2-1. The winner of, I believe it is the KSU Golden Owls and Emory Riddle today. One of those teams will be 2-1. So then things get a little bit dicey with potential tiebreaker scenarios. But the winner here, whoever walks away, will guarantee themselves a spot on Saturday.
Tell you what, I don't want to face KSU. We saw what they did to Army earlier on up to West Point. It was not a good sight. KSU is a very strong team, but so are both of these guys. And I'm excited to see what they can do today, right? We've gotten split out. You know, I'm sad. Nobody else is. So at least that's out of the way. I believe it was banned out, and then it was UC Irvine going ahead and take the defensive side on Haven. I think this opens up a few interesting opportunities. Decent map for Brimstone should you want to run him. Pair that up with maybe a Phoenix as well. We've seen a couple teams. You and I, Paul, have seen a very specific team. I'm trying to remember who it was, but running Viper here to significant effect.
You're thinking of last round save.
Yeah,
love that Viper.
They were crazy with it. And outside of that, I'm expecting Reyna, I'm expecting Jet, I'm expecting Omen, Sova, Cypher. Kind of the standard 5 right now, but Breach has gotten, I mean, a lot more powerful. The new patch today has been interesting, to say the least. What are your thoughts, Paul?
Well, I think the big thing we have to address is that much like the first strike qualifiers for anybody who keeps up with competitive Valorant, we are not going to be using the new Agent Sky. We will not be featuring the new map of Icebox yet until that's available in larger competitive esport play, right? So everybody, if you haven't been scrimming with Icebox, you can breathe easy for a moment, right? It's going to take a back seat. But I do want to talk just about flashes in general, right? Because you brought up Breach, but a bit of flash that has kind of like slid under the radar this patch is just that the flashes have been tuned slightly in general, right? So a full flash will now last longer until that like initial fade. So you are full flashed for a greater period of time. That's a slight buff to Phoenix. That's a huge buff to Breach because, you know, his full flash time already got increased, right? So it's very much noticeable. So there's definitely opportunities for Phoenix to see play here, especially on Haven.
Yeah, I honestly think that flash change, how it works in general, is going to affect the game more so down in its lifetime, right? When we get a couple more Sentinels, or when the meta really develops and you see compositions come in like maybe double Sentinel if you're running both Cypher and Killjoy, especially on the map as large as Haven. It may not be today that we see it, but it opens up the door for those double, triple flash compositions to all of a sudden become a lot more powerful as a counter comp against some other things, especially on one-sided maps like Split, when you really need that difference if you're going into the attacker's side first. That flash change gets pretty interesting. But, Paul, we're starting out on a Haven, and I'm pretty certain we know similar things to what these teams are going to be playing. There's very likely little shakeup in what these guys want to be going with compositionally.
Well, and to be fair, we don't know for certain. We haven't seen these teams play on Haven thus far, at least in this tournament here at Conference 1. So who knows? They might walk out with Viper, Killjoy, Reyna, Omen, Breach, right? We don't have an inkling, but okay. As I say that, turns out it's pretty standard. Nothing too crazy coming out of either of these teams, Dor.
All right, so it's pretty standard compositions on both sides. The one change-up, though, is running the Jet alongside the Breach. Normally, you're going to be wanting to run either of those alongside the Reyna. The Reyna tends to be extremely flexible of a pick, so we're going to see UT Dallas really flourish on both sides, whereas UC Irvine, this composition is primarily going to be good for A, attacking and executing sites, and B, taking up aggressive positions with this Jet on the defensive side. Holding off pushes, though, is going to be especially tricky without the Leer, as well without the potential of that Reyna getting a frag and getting out.
Nibbler already getting out of dodge there. Didn't want to go for too hard of an engagement. Is working with that frenzy, so that long angle up through sewer into a lobby can get a little bit risky. But UT Dallas, they don't want to contest with that either. On their attack, they're just leaning towards the B's site. This is going to be a little bit risky if they decide to go for this. Trap wire and a camera, both poised on B, ready to take advantage.
Yeah, it's super standard stuff so far from the defenders. I mean, just playing full retake on B. If there's any sort of pressure, the Sova's likely just going to rotate away, try and help out whichever teammate needs it. If the pressure goes on to B, you might want to just get one and get out, holding the site. It's not usually the greatest option on pistol, but now with a little bit of garage pressure, you'll see them shift over, especially with the frag on C. That's huge for the attackers.
The fault line is keeping players out of garage, so that has not been given up to UT Dallas. They will get control of the site. Spike going to be planted without too much issue here. You do still have to be careful. That breach going to go out. Make sure that grass has been cleared, but Adolfo actually gets the better of Nacho here. He's getting completely run on top of, so his position given away, but more time bought for UT Dallas. They are working at a player exact evens, actually, now that I look at it, but couple low members. June going down two. And the Jet just running onto the site. Doesn't clear behind. Lamb takes advantage. And a strong start for UT Dallas on their attack.
Yeah, there's a big opening there for UC Irvine to actually move in. UT Dallas had so much time after getting that spike down to move out into profitable positions. But, I mean, both the Reyna and the Phoenix were kind of just sitting there twiddling their thumbs on site, not getting much done. Luckily, though, UC Irvine, there wasn't much style or grace moving in there, mostly because their positions were relatively obvious, but with a little bit of tweaking of the timing, they could have had a serious shot at that one. Now, oh boy, defenders going for an aggressive buy into this. It's a force up against UT Dallas. If they win this round, it'll be huge for their economy and awful for Dallas's, but if they lose it, I mean, they're already just going to be in the dumps big time. Again, back to the standard setup that we saw before. This time, the trap wire locking it down on A, the breach shifting over from garage to play a little bit of B. We're playing musical chairs across the map, Paul, and I like it. I like the shift up. They're not giving away any tells, right? If usually the attackers would see something that they saw the previous round, they could suspect a standard setup. Well, they've seen nothing similar to what they saw in the previous round.
Ooh.
Oh, boy. As Nibbler getting that frag, not only is it a frag on the board, it's also with the frenzy. They still believe that this is going to be a half buy.
There's that range, too. Impressive control there from Nibbler. He nearly gets that second one, and June will cover him. So Yakuza is not able to go around. Eventually, Nibbler will get taken down, but he has done a significant amount of damage. That being said, still going to be the plant. Still rough stuff here. Oh, what an amazing shock dart, though. And he's got a recon at the ready, too. Position of Lamb given away. Has to go for the flash. Gets paranoia. Near sight. Keeping him at bay. He's got a Bulldog, and he doesn't have enough, though. Danichi will put him down. UC Irvine, they take a risk on round number 2, and it's going to pay off.
Slow down on the gonna pay off stuff, Paul. We might just see a replay of the pistol round if we're being completely honest. Both of these guys are gonna be hurting for cash. They lost a lot of guns, and that poor Silva's only got 2 hands.
Look how broke
it's a frenzy and a Bulldog. And here's the thing, is like, Irvine, their economy's not even in a place where, like, you can confidently buy up into this. They've got 2 Bulldogs to their name, but if they win this round, their economy's still not looking great. They might get a full buy following it. But after that, then we're back to a 3rd round scenario where UT Dallas are going to have rifles no matter what because they're not forcing up into this one. So this is weird, right? It's like we've taken the game back an entire 2 rounds after bolstering up the economy so much. It's super duper critical that Irvine finished this one off, though, especially after having committed so much to it.
And Nibbler just took such a nasty trade there in a long. The Bulldog at least means he was able to deal damage to the Cypher, but that is not nearly enough of an advantage. Danichi getting that one out of garage. Lamb at range, not able to find that headshot, and the Owl drone is going to go clear grass too. But now you should be suspecting this heavy lean toward A if you're UC Irvine, right? You've got that cam. It is posted up in sewers. I don't believe it's quite spotted anyone. Yeah, a very passive angle here. Just waiting to see if anyone will push this. And a trap wire at the ready to defend June 2. Oh, what a nasty shot there from Nibbler. At range, headshot with the Stinger will put down the already low health member of Paint. Still pretty dicey here. There's the swing. Oh, a headshot would have been enough, but not going to quite happen. Now June's locking it down. A flawless round and a much-needed breath of fresh air for UC Irvine and their economy.
That's huge, Paul. They can roll this into, well, it's
very
so weird to
delayed
say,
bonus.
A fourth round bonus. Yeah, a really, really late bonus round since they effectively reset the economy. Granted, still in their favor, so I have to give them props for that. They definitely rolled with the punches pretty well there. And I've got to give a real hat off to Nibbler, who has found amazing picks at the beginning of a lot of these rounds. Let's see what they want to go with setup-wise. It feels like they're falling back on this standard setup with the Breach playing in mid, the Sova in Garage a lot more than they were prior. It feels like it was just a pistol round strat, the rotation that they used with the Sova playing a little bit floatier. They were trying to spot out pushes a little bit earlier using the Sonic Arrow, but now that they're a little bit more confident in their weaponry, they can push up. And look at this A-push from the tag team of Cypher and Jet. They're looking for their... Oh. Nearly spotted out. Not much value found, though. Just a bit of information for the defenders, and effectively a large part of the map cut off as well.
Yeah, there's very little actual map control here for UT Dallas, right? Once again, they're going for a very heavy lean out and into grass. The Owl Drone going to try and clear out Garage, does force the Sova off of that angle. And we'll spot the Jet that has rotated over from A. So there is an opening if UT Dallas wanted to pivot across the map. But overthought by Nibbler. He's actually going all the way back to A. Great rotation, just messing with the information that UT Dallas have available.
Yeah, I gotta say it was a good read by UTD, but the counter push here. Oh boy, this is a huge fake from Lamb. I mean, if he gets a frag, so be it. That's great for them, but he's drawing out rotates. Oh no, the A site's been entirely evacuated. It's just a Jet and Nibbler looking for frags along site, but looks like a lost puppy more than anything else. 2-1, that spike's going down with absolutely nothing to contest.
At least the spike was dropped, so it did buy some time for a rotate with the Hunter's Fury at the ready. You just need to clear the right angle, but an off default plant will get UT Dallas the spike that they have been craving. Sylph going down 2. This isn't the best bonus round for the likes of UC Irvine here. Another frag Danishi would be pretty nice. Gotta go for it. I mean, no reason not to. You just have a Bulldog who're going to buy up next round anyways. Just going to enter on in. Spots the Reyna, but Cola will get the better end of that swing. UT Dallas will tie us up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most necessary round for UC Irvine. You're hoping to take a couple more weapons away there, but it's not the end of the world. You're already sitting at 2-2. The real downer there is that UT Dallas come away with a bolstered economy. They're going to have a buy on the back of this pretty much no matter what. And UC Irvine, can they even afford to buy on this round? I mean, they're scrapping stuff together, but they're going for it, Paul. I see 2,900 on Nibbler. And there should be a rifle buy there at the very least. I'm curious to see whether or not they round this buyout or not. Either way, they've got a solid shot at it, but it's definitely a must-win round for the defenders. Nibbler pushing forward with the Blade Storm, gets one. It's risky, though. Do you go for the secondary peek onto the Phoenix? No, backing away, gets spotted out by Window. It's going to be Cola taking him down to equalize the score. An aggressive C-push, though, as UC Irvine get the hell out of Dodge. They go in full-on guerrilla warfare at the beginning of the round, but I mean, it's not the worst trade they could have made, Paul.
Well, it's a classic Vision Strikers tactic, actually. That's something that the top team in Korea has been doing. The Blade Storm, the dash out of Garage, and the Breach flashes from B supporting that one. That was clean from UC Irvine. You trade Blade Storm for map control, both alt orbs, and a 1-for-1 kill. That is more than worthwhile.
We saw Sylph go down earlier on this same exact C-hold, so they'll definitely be a little bit apprehensive about holding this with one man, thus the Sova rotating earlier, considering the push that happened already. That's going to be a lot of information, as well as information over to Dallas that the Sova is now there as well, because they've seen the Omen, they know there's a Sova, they know there's at least 2 people here. I doubt this push actually ends up going C after getting that little bit. Yeah, they're already on the way over. Empress, to even speed them up a bit more, they want to take the train straight to A. This time, Irvine not going to be there at all. The rotations from Dallas have just been stellar so far.
The Cypher is still alive, so these trapwires will let them know that this push is 100% on A. Yeah, trapwire destroyed, easy peasy right there. Paint is going to get this down. There aren't any ultimates this time around to contest with that, as the Hunter's Fury was popped in the previous round. June now going on. His camera's already destroyed. He doesn't have much utility to live for anymore. Cola with the dismiss, out of dodge, but not far enough. And a nice pinch there onto Paint. Gets rid of the Cypher on site. 2 versus 2. Nice dodge on the paranoia there. Now they know exactly what the last player is too. Yakuza, he has to go for this alone, and Danichi's ready to shut him down. Irvine will reclaim their lead in what was honestly a beautiful round.
Yeah, and I honestly, hats off to both these teams. You can see why they got so far. The attacking ideas from UT Dallas are really, really strong so far. The rotations have been perfect. Their mid-round play has been what's impressed us by far the most. We mentioned those little tells that, from a first-person perspective, can be extremely hard to pick up. It's things like spotting out the Sova on C, spotting out the Jet, shifting over towards B, and then making it your way in towards A. Like, strategically in the middle of rounds, Dallas has been really good. It's been their post plans that have disappointed me to a pretty fair degree. I mean, I mentioned on the first round, the Reyna and the Phoenix not really getting much done positionally, and then on that round, they wanted to double stack on a long. Unfortunately, when they sent out the Paranoia, that really gave all the information away that there were two players there, because you send out the Paranoia, you swing with the Sova, oh, I guess there's two players here. They know exactly where the second one is, right? That could have been executed a little bit better. Then the mind games stand a real chance at working, and then you're looking at a dangerous post-plant setup. But at least these guys can figure out what to do after they get the spike down, Paul. It's going to be a rough game. It's been UC Irvine running, I'm pretty sure, the same exact setup every single round, though, so it's not like they have to guess about anything.
The same sights at the very least, although they have been very quick on their rotates, right? So that at least puts a little bit of that doubt into the minds of UT Dallas. Oh, Hunter's Fury going out. I believe it actually missed that first tag there onto Nacho. Will tag, I believe, once, but not enough to get that pick. And while there is a lot of position here up towards that B site, Aftershock giving even more information actually over to UT Dallas, as they'll know what side of the site now the breach is playing on. Kohler can go for the swing, but Nibbler's ready to support. Danichi will trade 1 for 1 in Garage, and that does give some pressure up over toward the C site, but Sylph is there at the ready. Paranoia and everything. Paint is locked. Look at the mini-map. He has nowhere to go, and I believe he was even hurt there, dropping down from that step. Easy does it. Paint, he's going to desperately try to go for the save, but if he actually saved this gun, it would be kind of a miracle.
Just had to get the corners in. We'll get June on his way out. These shots coming through the wall are dangerous, but UC Irvine wants to maintain their economy just as bad as UT Dallas do right now, so they're just gonna, shake hands, gentlemen's agreement. We'll come back for it next round and see how you're feeling. UC Irvine are happy to bolster their economy up a bit. Right, you get enough cash on one of these players to rebuy Nibbler the op next round as well. Everyone else should be able to just buy up their own rifles. UT Dallas can't really say the same. They've got the hero buy for Paint. Maybe they try to support that with a couple of sheriffs, maybe an SMG in the mix, although it's not exactly the most advisable thing. So far, it's UC Irvine after those really, really weird and awkward first 4 rounds coming out on top economically. And as far as first half go, I don't think you could really ask for anything more after a start like that. It was quite the interesting one, but they were the ones to adapt on the fly, and they're coming out ahead for all of the tricks that... Oh, that's just... Come on, Sylph, relax.
Well, and that's the danger, right, about pushing up C long. Even if you smoke it out like that, it's such a narrow little funnel. It's hard to actually get things done. Now Paranoia flashes all at the ready. It's a slaughter in that tunnel. Flawless round. I don't even think UC Irvine took damage.
I don't think they saw anything that actually shot them. They were just flashed and paranoid the entire time. That was absurd. I saw a clip on Twitter a couple days ago of now with Sky, the maximum limit that you can blind somebody for. And it's absurd. It's legitimately like half the round you could spend just not seeing anything. And I'm pretty sure we were nearing on that with that one. Especially with the Paranoia being so free all the way down C long. There's just nothing they could do. The weaponry wasn't there, the range, the flashes. All just too much. This is the round that actually matters, though, for them to actually get a grip and maybe start pulling back these 3 rounds. Danichi going with a... Oh, boy. That's 2 people. Somehow doesn't catch either of them, though. And it gets traded out for June. A huge pick for UT Dallas. And we're looking to push off it immediately. Throwing in a neural theft and catching people out of position. Danichi tries to push up to find a little something on the back end, but it is just too much heat to handle right now for the defenders who... I mean, they could try to play retake here, but even that is risky.
That neural theft was so huge, and there's not really anything available for UC Irvine coming into this, right? They won't even have a neural theft of their own as they lost their Cypher. Aftershock, I believe, actually too far forward into hell to clear out that player. There is a little bit of an angle through a not ideal smoke for Nibbler to play with this op. Flash is now going out. UC Irvine, they're committing to this. They know the economy has been changed, and you've got to go for these dicey rounds, but Adolfo will just rip them to shreds. Not much gained there for UC Irvine, and they'll drop the op to boot.
You know, when Nibbler dropped there, I could just smell the collat coming. They are very fortunate that he did not get off that shot, but they're also very happy to see that happen. Now on the attacker side, UT Dallas are going to continue to build up their economy. UC Irvine, I think, should be at the point where they're just about to run out of cash. Yeah, they may have a buy on the back of this one. It'll be piecemeal at best, but UT Dallas can actually start closing down that round difference. I think the biggest opportunity for UC Irvine right now is getting in with the Rolling Thunder. Oh god, that's an aggressive push from Nibbler. What a great shot onto Lamb, though. The reflexes are just insane on this operator, and even without the operator in hand, Nibbler has managed to get first picks God knows how many times.
Yeah.
It's huge advantages over to Irvine. Now UT Dallas scouting up towards the A side. They very much preferred to maintain mid control and then lean towards one side of the map with the rest of their players. And I don't think there's any denying that every single round they've out-rotated UC Irvine using that strategy. And that's all because UC Irvine haven't taken any map control in any of these rounds. I think there was one round we saw A and C push, and that was alongside the dash out with the Blade Storm. Other than that, it's been radio silence from the defense. I think they've got to really step it up in the aggression department, especially if UT Dallas are going to continue to adapt like this and just take all this free space. It's going to be another A push. Let's see if UC Irvine can hold it off.
This is a good read, though. With Nacho here already, it's going to be very difficult to get this done. That smoke is going to let them know, yep, the push is coming A. You're going to hear the footsteps, Owl Drone and everything. Nacho having to flash early. He'll get 1-2 for his troubles. Oh, it doesn't quite expect the Reina to have pushed up so aggressively, but Cola all alone on the site. Position revealed. Cypher up above, taking Cola down.
You know what they say about A, you know? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, well, shame on you. But the third time around, we're going to be there with Nibbler on an operator to stop you. Great stuff by Nacho as well. The flash was a little bit close for comfort, and it was a very fortunate that the Omen happened to be looking at it when they were, but with Yakuza and Paints out of the fight, it was all over after that one. This one-trick standard setup defense just continues to somehow pull through these rounds for UC Irvine, and I've got to say, it's also pretty quick rotations, as well as just really solid individual play, almost more than anything else. The retakes have looked pretty good, but nothing strategically has looked as sound as what UC Dallas have put up. That Sonic Dart makes Danichi want to get the hell out of Dodge, and they'll allow him to take C, get the plant down, and UC Irvine gets to come back in with 5. Let's see what kind of defense UT Dallas can put up on this post plant, though, because everything prior on C has been lackluster, to say the least.
Well, they all funnel down C long. There is nobody on the site right now holding for any kind of map control. Cola is going to come around. I believe the only person who actually has a gun, and the Rolling Thunder is going to get baited onto the site alongside the Paranoia here. There's no that one out garage, but I don't think they expect the second one. I think you're right. Cola creeping into garage right now. The spray down C long needs to be so powerful. Cola is at the ready. They know where he is now, but it's all too late. Clutch, no one there. Oh, actually, no, the defuse happened.
They got the
through the
defuse,
smoke. Oh, that's
Paul,
devastating
no.
for UT Dallas. Oh, no.
Oh, come on. The one person. Cola had the sickest flank, too. Oh. It's so sad to see that one go down like that. UT Dallas, I like that post plant setup. That was a lot better than everything you gave us prior. Just fell a little bit short on the execution front. UC Irvine now back with full-on Phantoms in their hands. They've got an operator on Nibbler. I want to see this guy go to town. Probably going to be going for an aggressive peek up here towards A short, and I'm all kinds of here for it. Let's see what the Jet can get done. Quick shot, no collab, but just Yakuza gonna double dip even? No, Paint shuts them down.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious there to go for the double dip. Nibbler, he's been going for these aggro peaks all game long thus far on the defense with this op. Trading the op
No
for a
ball.
gun, definitely not worth it, Dora, especially with the map control that potentially goes with it. The Cypher has to give up so much space. You have to play so much more passive if you're UC Irvine right UC Irvine? UC Irvine right now.
You know, Paul, leave it up to a guy named Nibbler to double peek. I feel
Yeah,
or to double
honestly.
dip. I feel like that's
Right.
just appropriate.
Honestly.
This B pressure is insane from UT Dallas. They've never actually used it to go B, but they just demand so much presence in the center of the map. UC Irvine is going to oblige, bringing all 4 members here to very quick rotation positions, ready to flex to either side, but you can tell they don't actually think it's going to be mid. They're more concerned about Garage, which is rightfully what they should be concerned about. The pushes from UT Dallas have been very consistently through Garage, through a long. And here
30
comes another
seconds
one,
left.
creeping up through just as UC Irvine rotate away, and they've chosen the wrong site, Paul.
Sylph is all alone. Paranoia will buy him some time, but Cola doesn't get hit by it and will shut that Omen down. 3v5, or 3v4, sorry, for this retake. But you're running into an Empress. You're running into much stronger post-plant positions this time around. Lamb actually all alone on the site right now, does still have the flame wall and the flashes. He's going to get flashed himself, though, and immediately eliminated. Cola's position revealed as well. You should know that everybody's just going to be sticking up in C long. But it's so difficult to remove people from that position right now. Smokes all run out here. Nice long shots there. One
He's only
bullet
got 3
puts
bullets,
June
Paul.
down, then he didn't nearly have enough time, nearly have enough resources. Paint will get it done. And Dallas starts
in
with
the
the
hash.
switch.
In the hash.
I mean, they've continued to just pull out a little bit of rounds here, a little bit of rounds there. It feels like Dallas just scrapes by on these post plants, though. And it doesn't feel great, but you'll definitely get there eventually. They have enough cash to buy out more rifles. UC Irvine feeling fine as ever. I think they're going to see a change in setup here, which I would love to get. This late into a half, it's like throwing a curveball in the 9th inning, right? Just when you're not ready for it, they come and hit you with the changeup. And we're in a quick little pause, which is going to give us more time to take a look at what UC Irvine have done. I mean, Paul, the defense they put up is incredibly impressive for having run the same setup every single round, save for the first.
Sure, and I mean, you know, we say same setup every single round, but realistically, they have been switching it up every now and again, right? It is mostly the Cypher, Jet A, Breach, B, etc., but they're willing to rotate so quickly and so sporadically, it seems. I feel like that's what's keeping UT Dallas on their toes, because, yeah, while Nibbler will go for these peaks out A pretty consistently, he's also done it out B, out Garage, and even after he's gone for those peaks out A, sometimes he stays and sometimes he goes all the way across the map.
This is a nice one.
Yeah, and that's the big difference right now with the Jet that's offered up by UC Irvine. I mentioned it at the beginning of the game, but just the early frag potential from this Jet, the repositioning ability and the counter push ability on the defensive side is UC Irvine's strongest thing. Granted, I think Nibbler's the only one to take a bite of that pie, but I mean, Nacho has an opportunity to try and go for some counter pushes. He's done a decent job trying to stop a lot of these pushes through on sites. The most successful that we've seen UC Irvine been at actually denying any pushes has been when the breach is there to try and play some sort of counter flash.
Right.
But outside of that, I feel like they've been pretty successful utilizing the opportunities that their composition gives them, even if it's not quote-unquote meta. They've definitely practiced it, and they look practiced on it.
And my question for UT Dallas as we go into this very last round, right? And we are unpaused, so are they going to turn up the tempo ever, right? It feels like they've only really gotten aggressive and gone for hard hits on the sites when they've had no guns remaining. Oh, that dash not going to quite happen. Yeah, well, when you dash into the door, turns out it doesn't quite work as well, and UT Dallas catch that one off guard there, and that flash I don't even believe worked as well from Nacho from UC Irvine. So a cacophony of slight errors stockpile there.
Yeah, I mean, you're 1 for 1 on attempt with that. I'll give it to him. It definitely looked really, really good the first time. Let's see what the defenders have loaded up. With the Jet gone, they fall back on their standard setup. I love that Sylph is off of C. Every single time this Omen has tried to play C, they've gotten hung out to dry, and it really hasn't been pretty. The best thing that we've seen on C so far has been UC Irvine just backing the Omen off and playing retake, which I think is exactly what they're planning to do here. UT Dallas are not going to commit to anything. They're looking for one more pick, which is pretty greedy all things mentioned.
Neutralize.
Oh.
You know, I was about to say Danichi needs to be careful, but whoever's down the other end, nope. Well, nope. Danichi needs to be careful.
Turns out both sides need to be careful when there
30
are
seconds left.
smokes and the like over towards C long. But A is where Dallas are creeping to now. There is a camera. There are trap wires here, so expect UC Irvine to at least know that the push is coming toward A. They are a player down. They don't have any ultimates. Not much time remaining, though. And with that recon bolt going onto
10
the map,
seconds left.
UC Irvine should know exactly where Dallas are pushing.
Another free push for Dallas. It's not the most free, right? They've got a few of those defenders down. They've already put in a lot of the work. Retake-wise, there's no ultimates up on the board. It is just rifles as well as utility to get themselves in. Nacho's going to be the one to open it up. Couple of flashes. Fault line thrown in. Full flash. Still managed to take off Lamb's head and all that light.
One player
You two
standing.
now left 1v1 versus the opponent's Omen. Do they recognize the position played before by Yakuza to try and stop this exact situation? Paranoia is out. Now know where the 1v1's being taken. Ju not holding it, takes the angle wide, sprays down the Omen, and closes out one more round for the defenders. UC Irvine are going to go 8-4 out of the half, Paul.
Such a good half, especially on Haven, right? Haven, one of the more even maps defender attacker sided in
Switching
Valorant. But, I
sides.
mean, you know, obviously most of them are defender sided, but you know, I feel like it gets changed up every patch, right? So it changes to Breach, changes to characters like Cypher. We have to put a little bit of a hold on terminology like that. Regardless, an 8-4 lead still going to be super good for them. They're now going to go on to their attack. If they're able to get this pistol round, it's hard to imagine that UT Dallas can swing this one back.
Right here. Right here.
Defensively, a much different look right now from UT Dallas. They want to play heavy-handed towards the C side of the map. I'm curious where this Omen actually ends up going. A lot of the time, you want them out towards C, out towards the center of the map. Significantly less useful there, considering you want to be
Revealing
running
area.
2 players or just a Cypher. It's a little bit greedy. But an aggressive push from UC Irvine is not going to be countered at all. Adolfo trying to get out. You've got all these numbers over here, but you're not pushing in to try and stop this push. They need the push in to try and stop at least the plant.
Spike planted.
More passive play from UT Dallas. It's exactly what we saw earlier.
They're going to be able to clear out June, though. He's in this pinch, and even though he gets that first headshot, you have to imagine Cola at the ready will put him down. There it is. Overheal now. 3 characters with flashes all available. Paranoia sidestep by Sylph, but not able to do much, or by Yakuza rather, but not able to do much else after that. Not nearly enough firepower there for UT Dallas as they lose the pistol. Probably set themselves up to lose this sequential round unless they risk a gamble here, Dor.
Yeah, it's worth noting real quick, just for everybody watching, with the patch going through today, it changed up how spectating works, so the teams do not shift colors. It is red now on the defense. UT Dallas will be red the entirety of the time. It's worth getting that out of the way for right now, although it seems like the kill feed actually still swapped colors.
Yeah,
which is a,
I feel like it's a little bit of a bait.
It's okay. Esports ready game, Paul. Esports ready game.
Well, UT Dallas, they're going to need to be ready themselves. I don't believe they bought up too much into this. I think I saw one player with a Spectre at the ready. Cola getting so spicy here. No one over toward main, over toward grass, expecting this on the side of UC Irvine right now. Nibbler has just crept into C, though, and with the spike on that side of the map, this is pretty nice. Cola is at the ready to catch some rotations coming from A, though. Let's hear that Cypher. Is he going to go for this swing? Oh, spots him with the right click, but June will put him down. Now that plant on C is impossible to deny, and UC Irvine will also be impossible to deny. On Lamb, not nearly enough for him to get anything done in a flawless attack to keep the momentum California favored.
I really love what I've seen out of Nibbler. I mean, opening frag after opening frag. 9 times out of 10, it's not even assisted by a teammate. Yeah, they've got a couple setups there, like when they want to move in with the Bladestorm, but more often than not, it's just the Jet walking forward and beating whoever she goes up against in an aim duel, dash away, look for another frag, or try and fake something out, right? They pushed even more aggressively up into the dark cover, and it's just big change-ups from this Jet, and on an individual level, Nibbler just feels like they're above this whole lobby right now. UT Dallas are going to have to do a lot to claw this one back, but this is going to be their best opportunity to, considering they're the ones on a buy, and Irvine, they're still with the weapons that they had last round.
I love these hard hits from UC Irvine, man. They don't waste any time. They know they want to get onto the site, and yeah, they will lose Sylph to that Cypher Cam. Cypher Cam actually not revealed either. So much information right now for UT Dallas as they go for this retake. I believe the cam is eventually put down, but Paint will grab another up from heaven. Paranoia at the ready. This will undoubtedly hit the jet playing inside of Hell. Nibbler not going to have a good time once that one gets thrown forward. 2 players up in heaven. A bit of a split retake right now, and the Paranoia actually doesn't go toward Hell. Nibbler's so low, but he's able to get 2, and June shuts almost everyone down. Now it's all left to Adolfo. A save here. You have to imagine he goes for a 1v3 is so dicey, and you don't have money. You don't have rounds to spare UT Dallas. Adolfo just has to head for the hills.
I'm not gonna lie, the kill feed being swapped over is still a little bit jarring, but I think I got the gist of that round, and it was UT Dallas's retake. Looks about as good as it did on the attacking side, which is not great. It's a shame because they're strategically they look really, really sound. They're getting places, they're getting players into the places where they need to be early and often, but the counter pushes and the holds to finish off all that strategic depth just haven't been there quite yet. They've got one more round before we head over to match point, Paul, and I think they have to let this one go. No? Are they going to force buy up into this? It's risky to say the least, but it's definitely giving them at least a little bit of a cushion, provided they're able to win this one, but that's a tall order.
And they will just buy the one actual other AR that wasn't saved from last round. So not a crazy heavy investment. Dallas, they're not betting, they're not putting all their eggs in one basket here, Dor. They're trying to get some work done this round because they will need to hold strong in the next. Nibbler, though, he doesn't care about what you want to get done. Cola will drop, and I believe that is a gun that goes with it there. C-Site is now in the eyes of UC Irvine. The smoke going to keep them at bay for a minute, though. 4 players leaning towards C-Long. We've seen how deadly rushing, waterfalling up C-Long can be if you don't time it right. Recon Dart will spot 3. Here comes the rotate dash onto the site from Nibbler. Will spot 1. Not able to get that done, though. And Adolfo from backside applies some pressure to UT Dallas, but it's not nearly enough. Paint all alone. Just a sheriff to his name, and he can't even pick up the Phantom. Just out of reach as June will shut him down, and UC Irvine go to match point.
Irvine are still rolling with the weapons they had in second round. Their economy is going to be huge, and yeah, take a look at that. It absolutely is. Nibbler sitting on a fat stack. June sitting on nearly max cash, save for having to buy a teammate earlier on in this round. What a big boost to Irvine. I mean, every single round for the next 5, 6 is going to be a threat, and that's assuming that UT Dallas managed to win this in a row. That last one was a really, really big economic commitment. You can see it in the buy right now. Yeah. Utility has been compromised on. There's no armor on the Reyna. Well, Nibbler's going to go for at least something on the side lane here, but there's not much to be found. UT Dallas holding their cards close to their chest for what might be their final round of map 1.
And this is going to be so rough for them too, right? You can already see that decreased utility, like you said. Just the camera here in such a far back position. Yeah, it'll catch Nibbler, but it won't get that hit. It is still available. That camera way up in the corner has not been destroyed. Okay, as he goes for the repeat on that camera, it will get taken down. And that late molly isn't going to stop the plant from the Phoenix. A retake that Dallas cannot afford to lose if they want to stay alive on Haven. They've got such a long way to run it back from UC Irvine. So strong thus far. And they're running out of time to go for this retake here. Dor Danichi already going to take out Cola. Oh, the dart. So devastating. The drop into hell. Not going to work out at all. And now the Hunter's Fury keeping Adolfo at bay. Flashes. They're not even going to let him get away with his dignity intact. Nibbler walking forward. Flawless in the last round. And honestly, a pretty flawless map from UC Irvine in general.
What a way to close that one out. I mean, it's weird. Their depth comes from their mid-round calls as well as in their ability to retake and hold on to sites extremely well. Their setups didn't, I mean, surprise or impress me all that much, but they didn't need to. They knew what they were strong at, and they played towards it, Paul. It shows in the scoreline. They let Nibbler pop off.
Look at Nibbler. 7!
Dude. Come on. That is absurd. I dream of those kind of numbers. Danichi, every single arrow felt like it was studied and calculated for hours on end before meticulously placing it upon the enemy's soon-to-be corpse. And then the rest of the team just loaded up as much util as they could to support those two. It did a fantastic job. I mean, Sylph, even though at the bottom of the scoreboard, I felt like just got hung out to dry at sea pretty often, so I feel kind of bad for him. I feel like he doesn't deserve that score. He held it down a couple of times, and the rotates from the Omen was really, really solid. This entire team looks like a well-oiled machine, and UT Dallas, the one thing I feel like they have more than anything else are these mid-round calls. If they could transfer that a little bit more into some more creativity in the post plant, whether that's coming in for the retake, which we didn't get to see too much of, or if that's playing on your own post plant. I think one of the most interesting things we saw from them was when they sent like 4 or 5 people out towards long and then rotated the Reyna out and around through Gaj. Granted, they still lost the round, but that was to a cheese defuse. Like, that's life. You know, you're going to lose a couple of those every once in a while. They need to get more creative like that, though. Or go for more standard setups on sites, right? Go into normal crossfires, go into normal corners where you can support one another properly and play for your spike plant position. Because if they don't learn to do that, they're going to continue to rotate effectively, outplay Irvine across the map, get the spike down, and then lose the round anyways.
UT Dallas, they're definitely going to need an adjustment as we head on to Bind. The map pick of UC Irvine is UT Dallas. They have already lost Haven, which was their own map pick. They're going to have a minute to compose themselves. We'll be back after a quick break with map number 2.
I don't wanna see you while you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, I still spin inside your orbit. Yeah. You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. It's my luck. Put me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. It's my luck. Put me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand. Come on, please, you understand. I wanna stay. 'Cause I don't wanna see you while you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, still spinning inside your orbit. I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. It's my luck. Put me away, you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back.
Yeah, you know I do to make it through the times we had. I see it now, I see it now. Real love, now I'll break through to show to you that I'm more good than I am bad. I work it out, I work it out. And I'll be somewhere that you need me, and I'll be holding my breath, waiting for you to show. Yeah, somewhere deep inside of you, I know you want me. You're just afraid to say. Real love, now I see you, and I'll make it through to find the life that we once had. I see it now, I feel it now. Real love, now I see you, yeah, you know I do to make it through the times we had. I see it now.
Welcome back, everybody, to Conference 1 Valorant Esports here, and we are one map deep into the fight for first place here in our group. The winner of this match, as we were saying earlier, for those of you just joining us, gets to go to the bracket this Saturday, free and clear. The loser going to end up in a bit of a dicey tiebreaker situation. We already have a little bit of news on how that tiebreaker is going, because the KSU Golden Owls currently up 1-0 on Emery Riddle. That map finished up pretty quick, so you have to imagine KSU, they are pretty scary. I do not want to be against in any kind of tiebreaker, whether it's map differential or whether it's an actual match against KSU, if I'm either of these teams. So this second map, Bind, going to be very important for both of them, even more so for UT Dallas, as they need to swing back here if they want to keep in the running door.
I mentioned it at the start of the broadcast. I mean, KSU just looks a lot better than I think a lot of people give them credit for, and especially for a team like UC Irvine, I would be pretty scared, because KSU, when we saw them play, they were pretty creative and they were really, really good at adapting to what other teams were doing. And with UC Irvine not showing us too many cards, just being really good at the ones they do have, I think that's a tough matchup for them. For UT Dallas, I think there's a pretty good chance they're able to play that one out, but they're also the ones who are down a game right now, so they got some coming back of their own to do.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And it was their map pick, UT Dallas's, that they actually lost on. Now we go over to UC Irvine's map pick of Bind. There is a bit of a bright spot, a silver lining for UT Dallas, as they will be starting off on the defense. And Bind is one of the more defender-sided maps in the game of Valorant right now, rivaling the same sort of defensive strength that we see on Split Door.
Yeah, it's grown to be so as well, especially with the meta shifting around and around and around. When people started running a lot more Sageless, and I mean, I'm not even convinced Sage is an agent anymore. I think she may have gone extinct at this point, at least an endangered species, to say the least. But when everyone got a little bit more aggressive, this map really got a lot more defensive more than anything else. Without the opportunity of the wall, and with the heal becoming even worse on top of that, there's not much you can do to really slow a lot of these attacking teams down, especially when you're running executes, which kind of brings me to my next point. What I want to see out of UT Dallas. They ran the Phoenix in the last game. I know they have a competent Phoenix to be running. What I'd like to see paired up with it, actually a Brimstone.
Yeah.
Set out that Omen. It's his best map. I'm a big Brimstone fanboy, so of course I want to see it. But on top of that, the synergy between those two agents is just ridiculous. And there's nowhere better for you to run it than on this map. As well, it opens up the opportunity for UT Dallas to go for executes, which don't require you to wait until the last 15 seconds of a round to get the spike down. As well, it allows them to just go for more of those aggressive little pushes that they tried to get away with, this time a bit more successfully, and not just relying on any one player to get them done. I think it all around encompasses exactly what UT Dallas needs to get a little bit more pep in their step in these rounds, because, I mean, they've got what it takes to get there. It's just that last little bit of, magic pixie dust they need to finish these rounds off.
Yeah. I do think, you know, you talked about the Brimstone. I think Brimstone is in an interesting spot, right? Because it's very much more of a niche pick than the Omen, right? Omen's so well-rounded, right? You get the paranoia, you get the smokes that go across the map. Yeah, you have to deploy them one at a time, but they also recharge, so you don't have to spend any of your economy on them. Omen is in such a good spot, but Brim, you know, if a team is willing to pull him out, he is so good for those hard-hit executes. It doesn't seem like either of these teams going to be, prescribing to your ways, Dora. Instead, we're still seeing the Omen. Killjoy, notably, though, for UC Irvine.
It's all right, Paul. I'm disappointed by Valorant teams every day. I know it's going south when they just ban split first. I just get sad, and I'm like, oh, maybe they're going to go for this cool agent pick, and then they just, back to the standard. We do, however, see a pretty interesting little swap here. Off of Jet, off of any sort of aggression now. They swap in a Phoenix, they swap in a Raze, which is ironic, right? The Phoenix is generally a little bit less good here than the Breach. It's one of Breach's best maps on top of everything. The Phoenix is more so for when you want to be running a Brimstone with it. They'll play completely passive on B here, though. For the retake defensively, which not exactly the most advisable thing, is even notoriously hard site to retake.
Especially if Paint dies here. Okay, he narrowly escapes that shock dart, which would have finished him off. Elbow control, very important for UT Dallas. Lamb, he dodges the flash, but you can't dodge the barrage of bullets coming right at him. Now, Yakuza, he's trying to enter in from backside. Paranoia, woo, he's getting assailed from every angle right now, Dor. And it is not going well for UT Dallas on this first pistol. Paint Show going into elbow. Clearing that out a little bit. Boombot. Oh, no, it bounced off the door.
No.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. It's not going to be able to clear anything here. A dry peek for Adolfo, and he will easily be dispatched. Tola all alone. Can't possibly get much done here.
I mean, what can I say? They're the ones that decided to play retake on B. That's their prerogative. Their prerogative is giving away rounds to UC Irvine. That's definitely one way. And I don't want to be too harsh on them. It's just not exactly the most advisable thing, especially when you don't have utility to try and take it back. You're playing into a Killjoy. You're playing into an Omen. They can lock that site down at the end and post-plant. It's going to get even harder now, UT Dallas. We talked a lot about what they're running right now, how interesting it is with the Raze, with the Phoenix. Defensively, it gives them a good few options, right? You can play aggressive with it. You can use the utility to effectively shut down a lot of these pushes. And in fact, it's what we should have seen last round and didn't. That matters more than anything out of that composition. But what UC Irvine are running is closer to standard. You just sub out the Cypher for a Killjoy, Sentinel for a Sentinel. People will argue about the effectiveness of this. Statistics say it's less good, but I don't mind it too much, especially if you want to play on this attacking side first. I think that's where it really comes in handy. The chicken, as well as the nanoswarm, can be fantastic at denying retakes.
I always call the turret a chicken. It's so funny to me. I mean, yeah, I know it looks like a chicken, but I don't think it would taste as good, Dor. Creep onto the B site now, though. Look how far Danichi has gotten for absolutely free. 2 picks without any issue as well. The Nanoswarm on his own team is going to prevent him from pushing back site, but Shen is making up for it. Pushing back into Hookah and flawless yet again. UC Irvine, they are looking unstoppable, Dor.
Dude, they're fearless right now. That's the second push back through spawn that we've seen out of them, and it is, quite frankly, disgusting. Everyone's just got frags, no deaths. Poor Sylph, still down there at the bottom. I feel like, again, I can't harp on the guy. The support that he's been giving on this Omen has been more than anyone else on his team has provided to one another. I'm pretty sure combined. So, major ups to this guy. Bottom of the scoreboard, #1 in my heart. UT Dallas could step it up a bit, though. They're coming into this round. This is effectively a must-win. They've got a weapons advantage. If they can't do it here, they're putting themselves at a massive disadvantage. But UC Irvine, they don't have breaks, Paul. They're straight onto A with the run it back.
Yeah, just a rush on in, and even nearsighted. Danichi is able to get one down. Already an advantage for UC Irvine in their bonus round. They'll get the spike down and everything. They don't have control of U-Haul, but neither do UT Dallas. And with that Sova creeping on in, Yakuza has to be a little bit careful. There will be that backup from the Sova in U-Haul, though. Just going to play that passive angle. Don't want to go too greedy here. What a beautiful double angle there. Paint on 1 health. Oh, headshot onto Nacho to at least put 1 in the grave, but UC Irvine, they win their bonus round, clean up all the guns, and keep a couple for themselves.
Fantastic stuff from UC Irvine. It looks like they're trying to speedrun this game, and I love every bit of it. The B pushes have been succinct, powerful. Granted, UT Dallas has effectively granted them both of those for free, but then pushing back through spawn, I like the aggression. Right when you think, okay, they have to slow it down, they've got worse weapons now, it's going to be a little bit of a tougher round for them to win. No, run it back, straight onto A. I'm severely disappointed with UT Dallas right now and these defensive options they've been giving us. We know how good strategically they are. They just need to have a little bit of guts, a little bit of moxie to hold their ground. There was no raise utility used to stop that push. There wasn't a single paint shell thrown in. They just backed away up into lamps and allowed themselves to be ran at. And you can't be doing that on the defensive side, especially on bind. You're running this raise for a reason, and they need to be utilizing it a little bit better. That's not to say there's not an opportunity to. They could shut a lot of these rounds down with just a little bit of utility usage, but it's more a question of, are they going to be able to fix that problem within the next couple of rounds?
Well, and look at UT Dallas. They've committed so heavily to this hookah because they have such a nice camera from paint here. They've given up B. They have no information. They have no one playing it. They just have Lamb sitting here with a judge and a stinger onto paint right now. He's not able to see anyone, just desperately hoping that nobody jumps up to contest him. Nibbler will go for the check here. A little bit dicey, but he catches paint on the camera. Oh, exact wrong timing. Lamb will at least make one punish for it. Pick up a gun to boot, but he won't be able to hold on to that one for very long. Now it's all down to 2. I believe just sheriffs in their hands. Not looking good for Dallas to get a thrift.
Yeah, I know you want to give a little bit of flack to him for playing double in hookah there. I think that that's a really good call from Dallas. I mean, you're already down weaponry. Your best option is to just gamble a little bit. You know, they bet on red, came up black. That's life. You're already at a worse spot. UT Dallas need to be focusing in on the next round. That's going to be the one that really matters for them. That's going to be the one where they should properly have weapons to contest up against the wrath of UC Irvine, which has just felt limitless for the past, how long has this match been? 4 rounds, about 20 seconds apiece. It's it's a little over 80 seconds. I mean, I gotta give props to UC Irvine. I think they've stepped it up. They look even better right now than they did in map 1. It may have been the side swap, it may have been the map change, but they look very at home on bind. And UT Dallas, there's ways back into this for them, right? This team has extremely good fundamentals. It's just about choosing the right times to push in. There's so much to build on for this side. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to do it just in this match. Finally, a little bit of counter aggression with some paint shells lobbed in over top. It's at least nice to see. Good job by Cola. There you go, bud. Stand your ground. Holding on for the defense. That's what we wanted to see from UT Dallas.
Good start for them as they will grab first blood. One of the first times this series, and a second to follow. Nacho getting a little bit ambitious on that Showers angle, and Irvine, I mean, they've committed pretty heavily towards this A site, but they're walking into 4 players and an Owl Drone. Gonna spot them out pretty easy. Paranoia beautifully timed there. Showstopper, just for the hell of it. Cola grabbing June and the chicken to boot. That is a well-cooked bird right there now. Sylph will put one down. Don't know if he expects the second. We'll hear the hop away from the enemy Owen, but has to go pick up the spike. So many players watching this angle right now. Sylph honestly wouldn't hate it if they save, but they'll get spotted regardless. Lamb putting that one down. UT Dallas, dominant round.
I'm not going to toot my own horn, Paul, but like, you know, a little like never hurt anybody, right? I called it a little bit of counter aggression, right? They threw 1 paint shell in and went for 1 aggressive push. And it was just the biggest gut check in the world that UC Irvine have ever received. And it completely won the round in the first 20 to 30 seconds. Just stopping that push a little bit. This entire composition screams, I want to stop people from pushing into me. And they haven't done that until that last round. Let's see a little bit more of it from UT Dallas. Let's see what they've got. Same setup that we're used to seeing. UC Irvine, you could tell. After that, they're respecting them a good bit more. Completely standard for the attacking side. They're respecting their opponents a fair bit here. UC Dallas have reestablished themselves on the defensive side. Let's see if they can do the same thing, though, twice. Cola, a little bit too big for your britches, maybe riding on the success of last round. Gets picked off at A, but it's not the end of the world for UTD, as they've still got options for shutting this one down.
You're dead.
Ooh, run it back, baited out over on the B site. Immediately gets some information, but it's not very useful information. It's 2 players out B long. They could easily take the teleporter over toward that B site. Thus, nobody is rotating yet for UT Dallas. They know this play could switch up, but the switch up is coming back toward B instead. Molly clearing out that cubby on the site, so they should know that the Phoenix likely still playing backside around box 2. Here come the flashes, here comes the entry in. Rolling Thunder at the ready. Believe it completely whiffs, but Lamb forced out into some waiting arms, open arms. Nibbler will gobble him up. Paint, ooh, gets tagged nasty in elbow too, just through a smoke. That flash, Yakuza not gonna let him get the best of him this time around, but still a very difficult retake.
Oh, I love that camera from Paint. He suspects that this aggressive push is going to be coming from the attackers, throws the camera down, actually watching elbow, and gets the frag for it. Unfortunately, this push is just so difficult. He's going to take a big clutch from Adolfo. He's already got 2, though. Needs 1 more to clean this round up. Spots him out long range, gets June down to just 3/4 HP. Oh boy, but this Cypher couldn't be looking worse for wear right now. The chicken's thrown out, sprayed down. All the information is out on the table. June goes for a pre-fire, and it's going to land it on the Paint. It was a Herculean effort from Dallas. But honestly, if that round came down to one thing, I gotta say it was, I believe, Nibbler on the Soba got a spray down onto Lamb while full flashed while entrying. And you know, it's a little unlucky, it's a little bit of miscalculation, but either way, if that goes differently, I think that push actually gets fully held out by UT Dallas, and it's good to see them going for those kind of plays. They held their ground. It was 2 flashes out from Lamb. It was an aggressive push in from Paint. They read the spawn push even from prior rounds. UT Dallas, this is a team that's really, really tough to contend with. And I got to give my hat off to UC Irvine for managing to pull a lot of these rounds out, because rounds like that can get really close once UTD start adapting. And I'm curious to see what happens in this one, because it's again going to be a full buy from the defensive side. Do they have what it takes to stop this push?
Already the run it back going forward. Danichi easily clearing out a lot of hookah there. Will spot the raise too with the 3rd person at the very end of it. Aldrone going forward. That is going to force Cola off the angle. But nobody's actually pushed on the Yakuza here, and he doesn't get hit by those flashes. Applying a lot of pressure, but had to choose between showers and a short, and flips the coin at the wrong time. Paint ready to creep out here from heaven. Trying to stop the plant, but will get flashed. Good work there from Nacho to shut that one down, and Lamb all alone just gonna have to go save.
Man, that new flash time is just brutal, and it was such a good idea from Paint, right, to push it aggressively there. And again, I just like the changeup from UT Dallas. It's not working for them quite yet, but they're making these rounds a lot closer than they were, considering the first 4 that UC Irvine went through at blistering pace. They're not gonna let this guy get away with his life, though. This poor Phoenix hiding in gardens. He's got potential to get 1 for free here. There's nobody to follow this Nova up. Easy spray down onto 1. How do you run away, bud? I mean, it's a big old game of tag at this point. Just hide and go seek.
Thanos one keeps him at bay. Nice first shot there from Lamb. Flash 2 actually catches the Omen. He's just gonna dip through the portal there. Wait to see if someone follows him through. Still is thinking about it, but the timing doesn't quite work out for him, and that would have been dicey regardless. Still, Irvine with such a dominant lead, Joey. This is getting difficult for UT Dallas. This is their defense on bind. They need to put a few more rounds on the board.
Yeah, for as much as they've adapted, for as much as they've looked significantly better over the past couple of rounds, I mean, you can't deny the scoreline right now, right? They are behind, and it's not by a small margin. They've got some ground to make up, and they don't have the economy or the weapons to do it. UC Irvine have an opportunity to spread this lead even wider in the next 2 rounds, maybe even carry it on into the rest of the half. How do they want to play it is the question. They've got 3 players floating around here on the A side. UT Dallas with maybe an aggressive counter push through, but doesn't feel like they want to fully commit on anything. Paint holding down here in garden. It would be a miracle to get a second kill here. Jumps for 2 right clicks even. Big picks for the defensive side on their thrifty round.
Kill there too, forcing Sil forward, and the Frenzy gets yet another such low health across the board here for UT Dallas, but they've gotten rid of 3 guns. Admittedly, Irvine, they have more than enough money, more than likely, to keep those buys going, even if they lost this round out. So June rather, just trying to maintain pressure over those rifles, making sure that no one can go pick them up. Lamb will grab 1 though. and run over to support and showers. The TP behind from Paint. June's got to keep their head on a swivel, and it's a rifle that Paint is able to get the job done with. Great round for UT Dallas.
All right, Paul, we're making up words now. That's a gigantonormous one for UT Dallas. Win a round 4 alive somehow on a thrifty. You get to take away. All right, let's do a little bit of quick math here. Almost 12,000 credits worth of weapons. That is absurd. It's like 11,600 as a grand total with 4 players coming out with full rifles. The economic boost, you can see, look at how much cash they have in their pockets. They're rolling in it. UC Irvine are all of a sudden behind in economy. They're still ahead in points, so they have to make that up. But as far as momentum go, as far as ways to turn this one around, it can't get better for UT Dallas. They just have to stop this push. Dolfo, though, holding their ground with the operator, stops the push before it can happen. This team looks, quite frankly, reinvigorated, Paul. I feel like these changes that they've made so far in this half have been extremely positive. Granted, the score doesn't quite reflect that yet, but they've definitely raised their odds.
And honestly, I feel like we need to see some differences in some new adaptations rather from UC Irvine, right? They keep doing this showers B-long split, and it feels like it's been pretty heavily read by UT Dallas. Look how heavily they've posted up outside showers control right now. Cola dropping down, completely safe right there, and even goes for the refrag. Spike dropped onto the floor and not going to be able to pick up. UT Dallas, the rounds they win, they look so strong on.
This is extremely convincing. UC Irvine, they're going to be lucky to ride this economy out to the end of the half. They should have one more buy right here. And that's it. I mean, they're out of dough. They've gone from living in Beverly Hills to down in the slums, and I don't think I've seen a bigger fall from grace in these past couple rounds. And it all starts with UT Dallas coming away with 4 members alive on an eco. I mean, what a ridiculously just game-changing round for them. Let's see if they can capitalize on it one more time to break the economy of UC Irvine once and for all. It's Adolfo with the operator yet again, playing an aggressive position up here in Hookah, shifting around where they want to be playing. It's back to B, back to where this all started on Bind for UC Irvine. It's going to be an aggressive one, Paul.
UC Irvine, they're going for one of those hard hits that worked so well early on in their attack, and they've got the lockdown to support it. Already into Hookah, pinch there onto Adolfo as he will get one, but shut down ultimately, and that's a trade UC Irvine willing to take. Lamb not able to stop the plant for very long here, although he will delay it. Nibbler now has to go for that one. Nacho not able to swing. Nibbler all alone here. Shock darts to support, knows the Phoenix is coming out of elbow. We'll get the one, but the boom bot applies too much pressure there, and Paint will find Nibbler looking the wrong direction. UT Dallas, they struggled so heavily, but they've now put 3 in a row on the board.
Really incredible stuff. Fantastic retake, fantastic hold. They trade out 2, push back in with the run it back without losing everybody on their side. Adolfo did the most they could with the operator in that position. I honestly have nothing but respect for what UT Dallas has done. I don't want to fanboy over them or whatever, Paul, but I'm very impressed, to say the least, with the way they've turned this game around. So, no, please, no spam. I'm very impressed with the way they've turned this one around. UC Irvine, I mean, they're getting a little bit obvious. We mentioned how they don't have too many setups, in particular on their defensive side. It feels like the same on the attacking. That's the second time they've been red pushing aggressively into the defender's spawn over at B. And the aggressive A push this time, Paint is good as dead here as Nacho finishes him off with the Sheriff. And they finish off this A push appropriately, though. UT Dallas are giving them the space to get that spike down, but Cole is lying in a way here. I'm pretty sure this is a set paint shell to try and stop the spike plant.
Oh, showstopper. Is it close enough? Not quite, and a little bit late at that. Beautiful shot there, long on to June, though. So still a very winnable situation for UT Dallas as they go for this retake. They've already got control of backside. No one threatening that. USU Hall is going to be pretty dicey. One swing. Oh, flash thrown in late there, but Lamb able to sidestep everything. Eventually gets shut down by Nibbler with the Frenzy, but Frenzy ain't going to do too much more. Admittedly, UT Dallas, that wasn't the cleanest round they've won, but I mean, they're going to keep stacking up rounds. They're going to keep putting up wins and get ever so close to tying up against UC Irvine.
I mean, you can feel the confidence oozing out of this team right now. They're feeling themselves, and the 2 picks that we talked about at the beginning of the game this Raze and the Phoenix. Phoenix not necessarily optimal for Bind, but I love the way that Lamb's playing, and he's lucky to be playing it. I feel like it's the perfect thing to really give this team the kick in the butt that they needed to push back in aggressively, and then the Raze just as much so, right? No two heroes are going to be as good at holding their ground than these two agents. Lamb, fantastic job in the last round cleaning up 3. Let's see if they can finish this half off even as Yakuza goes for an albeit very aggressive push here. UC Irvine are nowhere to be found. It's completely spread. Danshi's going to push in with the run it back. Could get one here. Oh, it's Adolfo cut off by his own teammate Smoke. That's an unfortunate one. This kind of spells an open B site for them, but a quick rotate over by UT Dallas denies that, and it doesn't look like UC Irvine had any intention on following up that pick anyways.
No, honestly, I mean, once again, UC Irvine just trying to play the map right now, but since it wasn't a hard hit onto that B site, UT Dallas are going to fall off, head back towards A, where they believe the push is coming through, but Irvine haven't even committed to one site or another. Danichi going down does make that B site a little bit more difficult for Irvine. This is a pretty strong position from Sylph. He's not spotted by the camera either, as it is on the wrong angle entirely. Sylph is just creeping so deep onto the site. Eventually he'll get spotted by the cam, and that tracking dart will keep him from pushing onto what was an excellent paranoia. Paint maintaining control of back site there, but only for so long, as he'll swing and get caught by Nibbler, who knew exactly where he was. And from the shadows would be ambitious, but it is last round. You might as well go for it for some information. And I believe he spots that Phoenix coming out of vent alone into U-Haul. Goes the Phoenix. The Lamb, he doesn't need support. He'll pick up another gun. Does get hit there. Vulnerable right now. A lot of damage potentially. Has to go for the reload on his new gun. And now it's all down to the 1v1. Both players know where the other are coming from, but Lamb with the 4th in the round will shut it down, tie it all up for UT Dallas. They're not done quite yet, Zor.
Lamb's going nuts, Paul. What a way to close out the half. I'm pretty sure that's at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 3+ frag rounds for that, man.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous stuff so far on the Phoenix, and I expect to see more on the attacking side. That's a huge clutch, and honestly, if the weapon that he picked up didn't have just like 2 bullets in it, he probably could have gotten even more from that, all things being said. But it's worth noting, when we swap sides, UC Irvine, the defensive side is where they came out ahead on the previous map. Let's see just how good they look. This Killjoy, arguably worse than a Cypher would be on the defensive end of things. It gave them a lot of opportunities attacking, especially with the aggressive way they started out. But it's going to be significantly less effective at trying to hold its ground like the Razor or Cypher would be. And remember, Irvine is still running double flash. So with the breach and the Phoenix being run here, they need to be careful that they don't overlap. They're both being run on the same site even. You can see them both lingering around there at B. So their real options when running both them on one site are, I mean, push aggressively or push aggressively. Otherwise, you basically have to split them up. Otherwise, it's going to be so difficult to play around both those flashes. It's not like UT Dallas are playing some super duper Sentinel heavy composition. Those flashes aren't going to get you through paint shells. Those flashes aren't going to get you through shock darts, right? They're meant for getting you through an opposing team Sentinel utility, which, I mean, Dallas, yeah, they have a Cypher, but outside of that, there's not really that much. So the only way UC Irvine can get away with this double flash composition is to just play really aggressively, especially without a Cypher.
Well, and it is worth noting, right? Killjoy has received some changes recently, right? A little bit of a buff, a little bit of a quote-unquote nerf, although the 40-meter range is still really, really big. Speaking in terms of where you're probably playing anyway. So the Nano Swarm, not detected from as close, also does more damage now. It's 45 per second that you stand in it. The turret as well as the alarm bot can be repositioned more frequently, right? So Killjoy definitely in a better spot than she was last patch. Not, crazy changes. It's not the breach buff, right, with his flashes lasting so much longer now, but very much noticeable at that. We do have this pause as we figure out what's going on with the players. Believe it's just a bit of a technical issue, so hopefully we'll get that one sorted rather quick.
All right, so Paul, let's take a look at what they did in the last game. What UC Irvine got up to. Defensively, we critiqued them a lot for having the same setup over and over again.
Sure.
On their map pick, I think that is likely to change, and I think it needs to change. We didn't see much aggression from them outside of like an A push here and there for information, not really finding much in the way of frags. And with Nibbler off of the jet, I think that early push, that first frag potential really gets diminished. You're still playing on a double flash composition, but we haven't seen any aggression defensively from this team. So it's kind of counterintuitive to the way they've been playing tonight. And I'm curious to see whether or not they're able to adapt to both the map and their own team composition, because stylistically what we've seen from them is quite the opposite of what they need to be doing now on the defense.
Well, and I mean, I do have to ask you, Dor, personally, do you think that the only way to play this double flash is to go forward, right? Because I think there is a window where if you read the pushes correctly, if you are able to time those flashes, they can be used to stall out pushes, right? Especially in combination together. That is a lot of flash, a lot of area just denied immediately. So I'm not super convinced that UC Irvine have to just hold the W key over on the B site.
No, absolutely not. You don't have to play hyper-aggressive every round. And I mean, any game of Valorant is like poker, right? An aggressive game of poker isn't always aggressive every single hand. You got to hold it sometimes. You got to play slow sometimes. That's just the nature of the game, right? You need to change things up. As well, I think this composition is going to be pretty good for going for retakes, particularly on the A site where the Phoenix can really manipulate around U-Haul as well. The breach is super duper good for working out of both Heaven and the Defender spawn. There's a lot of options there. Retake wise, B is always going to be a hard time no matter how many flashes you're running. So there's definitely some options there for them to mix it up. But overall, I think their gameplay to utilize this composition does need to be in the more aggressive range. The retake is kind of bolstered as well by running the Killjoy, who is extremely good for retakes, right? The Chicken can hold ground as well. The Nano Swarm, excellent for denying the plant, giving your team time to come in and play for that retake, as well as chipping away at the health bars of opponents, allowing that to become even easier. And again, I think this composition can work. It just doesn't work for UC Irvine. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head it to a quick little break as we're figuring something out with this pause. We'll be back in just a minute to see whether or not UC Irvine can slow down the momentum that just doesn't seem to stop flying out of UT Dallas.
All right, y'all, we are back. These two teams are at the ready. We have been told to resume. Just had a bit of a connection issue for one side, but now going on to it, UC Irvine on their first attacking round, or actually UC Dallas, sorry, on their first attacking round. That's still messing with me, the colors, how they do and don't swap. That turret is going to spot Cola coming on up. Great Nano Swarm. So much damage done to Lamb right now. He is going to be in some trouble as he tries to push into U-Haul. Does get the better of that first hit. Flash will be swung on there. Ooh, right clicks. Working beautifully for Cola, though. You see Irvine right in the struggle bus right now. And Nacho doesn't have enough ammo in the clip. Can't land those right clicks. And the Frenzy won't be able to shut anyone down there. UT Dallas hardly struggling on their first pistol.
Yeah, and for UT Dallas, it was just a strong, pretty standard A push up through short. UC Irvine, I actually was pretty impressed with what they're going with on the defense here, right? You can see the ideas, right? The Killjoy and the Omen are meant to stall this push, kind of slow things down on A, play for the retake with the Nano Swarm. And UT Dallas, they pushed a little bit aggressively to find some information on B, and then immediately just sent the whole brigade back over towards A as quickly as they could. And as quickly as they could wasn't quick enough. UT Dallas still got onto the site first, but this composition, you can tell they've adapted to how they want to play it. Look, they push out towards B long. They figure out that little bit of information. They're going to rotate one more person back over to A to try and play counter push now, because if they get there before, they don't actually have to retake. They can just try and hold with those flashes. Like you mentioned, they are still good at stopping these pushes with that many ways to slow down the opposing side. It's just a question of, are they going to be able to now in the second round while UT Dallas have better weaponry?
Heavy stack on A at the very least, but it doesn't start off very well for them as first blood is spilt by Yakuza. U-Haul getting pinched onto as well. UC Irvine not having a good time thus far. Nibbler does have that recon bolt. We'll be able to know at least where the Sova is playing, but Paint is ready to support Danichi all alone. This is going to be such a difficult angle to push from. I don't believe at least they expect Danichi from this angle, so can get the first headshot there on to the Sova, but second, third headshot going to elude them as Lamb shuts him down.
It's wishful thinking to ask for more there, but you're happy to get a couple of frags as well. No way to defuse the spike, so it's a little bit of a boost for Dallas. They should be able to play this one either one of two ways, right? If you want to play it as bonus, go for it. If you want to play it as buy round, that's also right up their alley. I'm honestly not super opposed to going for the full buy here, the whole enchilada, if you will, Paul. See what they want to get up to. I think they just want to hold on to these weapons and make it an awkward bonus round, but buying up on Yakuza doesn't exactly make it a bonus round because he's going to have no cash following this. For UC Irvine, standard third round stuff. However, they're going to change up their setup to play towards the A side with this breach, which I'm not certain is the best option for them, right? You want to play a little bit more certain than that. You have those options. You can play your composition out to its fullest. Then she's going to go for the scout here around the corner. Maybe just about knowing the Raze is there more than anything else for the defenders. They've gotten so much info off of that aggressive push on B. And like I said, that's exactly how they should be playing this composition. Are they able to stop this push, though? They see the camera. The shock dart could be pretty deadly at stopping this one. He gets caught up on the edge of the door. The B player is now completely stranded out here, waiting for the retake, waiting for the cavalry to come in from A. But Sylph is just lying in wait here for the right opportunity to push through, while UT Dallas abandoned the place entirely.
Yeah, Sylph narrowly keeps UT Dallas at bay there. That smoke into hookah stalls them out just enough to where, despite the fact that they knew where Nibbler was coming from, they didn't want to go for that push. Fault line going to stall even longer, but Nacho's not going to be able to get a pick off of that one. Has to wait for the push. Sees the smoke coming forward. Here's the paint shell. Molly as well. Expects the Phoenix to be pushing him. Nobody is actually going toward U-Haul right now. Instead, it's June who's getting swung on top of, but he's getting rough for the attacking squad. Say that they are going to take U-Haul control and remove all but one of the defense. UC Irvine, once again, it's Nibbler all alone on that long rotate. Stomping into sight, has no information as to where anybody is right now. Does see that camera over in showers, so can at least assume the Cypher is playing there, but still two other players to pin down. Spots the Sova. Can't quite get that done, though. And easy pickup there for UT Dallas. A solid lead now for the first time in this series for them.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been the most ridiculous comeback. UT Dallas have so much momentum going behind them, and now it's the economy too. UC Irvine, I think this is just a must-save round for them. Maybe a couple frenzies. Sylph is buying up to what I'm guessing is going to be a Hero Spectre here. I don't think the rest of the team is going to buy up around this one. I think they're trying to throw a little bit of cash on a one person to give them a shot at this, which is a decent chance, but with the way UT Dallas have been playing, it doesn't seem like the greatest one. Load up, back onto the A-hole, 3 members of the breach, looking to push up aggressively here, but I'm not certain there's all that much value to be found away from the one-way smoke.
No, they were just hoping they were going to catch someone with the fault line there and get an easy pick, but no dice for UC Irvine this time around. Instead, they're just going to have to play slow and play for information. Boombot going to spot out that nobody is holding close for U-Haul. But June is actually going to go for that rotate and go for a bit of an... Oh, this would be so dicey if he tries to swing this, and Lamb at the ready. Nothing to support June on that one, and now that Nano Swarm can't even be activated to stop this push. UT Dallas can storm onto the site. They'll lose 1, but... Ooh, actually make it 2 as that Spectre does get a little bit of a hero play, and there's been enough time now to where UC Irvine, they've got some players here to contest for this plant. Nothing available though, and Nibbler has to go for the rotate. That shock dart, 3 health onto the Raze. If it could catch Kohler, that would be huge, but no, it will whiff there. Danichi trying to clear out that pocket. Will force the Sova to swing, but a Frenzy and a Sheriff, not easy to punish the Sova on that movement there. Vandal now picked up, but a blind onto Nibbler, not able to get anything done there. Danichi desperately trying to clear out U-Haul, but both flashes used, position given away. Shock dart taking him down so low. Not much hope here for Danichi to get much more done. No, instead UT Dallas will hit double digits.
Yeah, right now we're really seeing kind of the woes of the competition that UC Irvine have given themselves. The Killjoy is just so much less effective at shutting down these pushes, right? Imagine a world where they're running a Cypher and you can run, say they've been going A a bunch. You could be running the Cypher over on the B site and then play 1 person floating and spawn 3 on A. All of a sudden that rotate becomes a lot quicker. You can move around the map a lot more fluidly because you have confidence in that Cypher utility to slow the enemy team down enough that you can play more towards your intuition and less towards what's just standard for your composition. But the Killjoy limits their options so much. The second that chicken is taken out of the fight, I mean, they're out of ways to realistically stop that A from getting taken, as well as help their players survive the push in, even to get out for a retake. There's so many options open for UT Dallas, and they've exploited every single one of them. This time, they shift the Killjoy over to the B site, and UT Dallas are headed straight there. We'll see exactly how well this push goes for them, though, is once they get rid of that Killjoy utility, the story should be the same, but that B site is even harder to retake.
Kentucky Furies have been ambitious, and Nibbler ain't going to get spotted by it. Instead, able to shut down the run it back. Does he expect someone to be coming up onto the box? No, but the flick is pristine, so it hardly even matters. Nibbler just locking this down, honestly, almost solo on this site, as the elbow control has not been phenomenal for Irvine. They're going to try and rotate back to A as the spike has teleported across the map. And Danichi will catch Kola, who is hanging around all by themselves. A second too late there for Dallas, and they will lose the first round on their attack. UC Irvine get a much-needed breath of fresh air.
Yeah, that was A, much needed, B, peak UC Irvine. That looked like the rotations that we saw over on Haven. Quick, confident, and powerful. You can see when they get the setup going, when they feel confident rotating towards the site, they get there quickly. Their reaction actually to the rotate onto A was absurdly fast, right? Even with the given information, even if you can hear them rotating away, to beat the opposing team there before they get that spike down is incredibly difficult, and quite the feat from the UC Irvine side. I want to see more of it, though. I haven't been fully convinced by this team. Their A is still relatively untested. They've shifted towards this new setup with the Killjoy playing on the B site. I think it's a lot more standard to what you'd normally see out of a Sentinel. I know the sight lines are really good for the chicken on A, but they're also pretty strong on B as well. Yeah. It opens up the opportunity to try and rotate away from B a little bit earlier. Hard holds become more of an opportunity on the B site, and overall, I think it's just a little bit better for what UT Dallas have thrown at them so far. And as we head into another quick little pause, apologies again, ladies and gentlemen, I do think UC Irvine have the right change. The big question is, have they changed up A correctly? We've seen them play it over at B. When UT Dallas comes storming for the gates of A, what happens then without the Killjoy there?
Well, and earlier you were talking about the flashes, right? And we had a little bit of a back and forth. I'm going to dive more deep into that as we have yet another pause, because there's now all three of the agents who have flashes are on the A site, right? You have the Omen, the Breach, and the Phoenix. So that timing we were talking about that can be a little bit tricky is ever so important. And even if you get a well-timed flash, even if it catches 3 or 4 members swinging alongside of it, the angles have to be perfect and the timing has to be phenomenal, or else you can still get punished by the one person you failed to flash.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, this is what I want to see from Irvine earlier on in the half. Whenever we started off on the attacking side, I said I want to see this 2-man flash squad just run around and be a nuisance everywhere. I don't want them to play the same side every time. I want them to play different positions every single round, whether that's pushing, A short, whether that's bathrooms, whether that's long, whether that's hookah. They need to be utilizing it effectively or splitting it up. But if these two are playing together and playing passively, it's going to be really, really hard for them to actually get something done. It seems like they know what they're doing, though. It feels like these pushes are confident. Whether or not they work on A is just the big question here. It's just a question of, are they able to do it on the opposing side of the map?
Well, hopefully we'll find out soon. Lamb is having some technical difficulties, so we are going to go to a quick break as we pan over this gorgeous river. We'll be back soon with the conclusion
don't show
of
that side of the river.
It out, I work it out. And I'll be somewhere that you need me. And I'll be holding my breath, waiting for you to show.
It was Lamb. Ooh, they're very lucky to have him back.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the game. A little bit of a technical error, but Lamb is once again back here, so we will be going back into the game. Fault line sidestep there, perfectly by Kohler. It seems it's pretty calm across the map, all things considered. Pretty default from both sides. Nobody up in U-Haul, but still 3 players on A, so not too dicey over there.
Yeah, I gotta say, over all these breaks, they're very fortunate to have Lamb reconnect, because for all intents and purposes, he's been a wolf in sheep's clothing. Just absolutely dominating no matter where he's been played. Now on the attacking side, pardon me, the defensive side, you see Irvine have a bit of work to do. They've got their one-way smoke, so their fancy schmancy stuff being thrown out, but none of it's really found any value. It's just UT Dallas poking and prodding. Finally, they found the break they want, though, and it's Cola doming down Danichi. They're going to push in for a plant here, likely with a little bit of util to try and make it into a semi-execute, or rotate around, which is the option they're going to be opting for. There's a lot of Killjoy utility at this other site, though. This is exactly how this defensive composition was meant to be played by UC Irvine. You can rely on that Killjoy to buy you a little bit of time. Granted, it's not going to be the best hold, but it lets you rotate over to A more freely. Now, can they finish that equation and get the rotate back to B?
Aldrone is going out. Nano Swarm, first one popped. June is spotted there. Oh, and getting tagged a bit through the wall, too. By that Aldrone, nice low flash, but Nibbler's on the cover. No one taking out June today. Showstopper being pulled out here, but not really doing much for UT Dallas. Spike has been planted. Adolfo in a pretty strong spot to try and cover it, but he's all alone now. Will be able to shut down one. If he could find a second, that would be huge, but no, he had to reload. Now he's getting pushed. Nibbler, 3 in the round. That's what we expect to see from Nibbler.
Big stuff from Nibbler. Way better play from UC Irvine. I mean, you can just see how much more effectively this Killjoy works out on the B site for them. And, like, the Killjoy can be played on A, don't get me wrong. It's just against what UT Dallas have been trying to do. The Killjoy is going to be a lot more effective, and with UC Irvine being as strong of a rotating team as they are, with as quickly as they want to be moving around the map, I don't think there's anywhere else better for this A to be playing right now. Is it comeback worthy? I'm not sure quite yet, Paul. They've got to pull out 1-2 more rounds to really give them a shot at that. UT Dallas are on the verge of breaking economically, though. They're going to scrap something together for this round. They've got a couple ultimates to run with it, a Neural Theft and a From the Shadows to make it count, but UC Irvine can deny that all in one with the Rolling Thunder and the Killjoy's ultimate. All really, really deadly tools for both the retake and stopping this push. It's certainly going to be a tough round for UT Dallas, but it is definitely an important one.
Aftershot, keeping UT Dallas at bay. Over on A short. The Hunter's Fury had been committed there, but didn't even find a tag, it seems. Thrown out completely dry by Nibbler, just for information right now. Some players have been spotted up towards Hookah. Oh, this is aggressive from Nibbler. He's going to get spotted, but one for his troubles regardless, as Lamb is not able to make that happen. The drone a little bit late on that, I do believe.
Cage triggered.
Payne at least finding one across the map will apply some pressure onto the A site, but it's just a rush out of short. A gun spotted there. Payne will get the second swing. And spot the fact that Danichi is in showers. Danichi using that timing, that information, give it over to go for the swings, go for the pushes, and the kills to boot. 3 on the round. Beautiful work, and a great run it back for UC Irvine.
UC Irvine's looking to rip away all that momentum that UT Dallas built up over the previous half and take it in their favor. Remember, it's UT Dallas who are the ones that are on match point. It's their game to lose right now, and UC Irvine are trying to do exactly that. Take this one home in 2 maps. It would be a miracle effort to pull off adaptation this late into a game, but they're really showing us a special something, and I think a lot of that comes down to Nibbler's play over on this B site. I think he looks so much more comfortable playing on the Jet, and at this point, they've just entirely ditched the Sova ideals and just started playing Jet again, and it looks a lot better.
Careful now.
Couldn't agree more, honestly. UT Dallas, their lead is starting to slip away too, Dor. It's starting to get a little bit dicey for them. This gun round is ever so important for them. Momentum, great flash there. So many flashes being utilized to just keep Dallas at bay, but Danishi with that wall pushing a little bit too far forward. Showers now given up. And while there are still 3 on this A site, it's getting a little bit difficult for UC Irvine to hold this down. They got to keep both Short and Showers in their minds. Oh, that would have been such a huge pick for Nacho, but not quite able to make it happen. At least knows where the race is. Aftershock forcing Cola out for the swing, and Nacho will be able to punish Cola. Fight of the food right there. Over on the A site. Nibbler ready to gobble up anyone. Just spraying blindly through the smoke, though. Not going to be able to do much. The Killjoy ultimate over in elbow. Pretty difficult to remove. This is an ambitious plant, as you're not going to be able to get away from this in time. The detain definitely hitting not only him, but also Lamb, who was poised on the site. Hookah is going to be a safe haven for a moment here. But with Adolfo so low, Yakuza being taken down, UC Irvine will tie us up.
I actually think UT Dallas, that's a really good run for them. They got Spike down, they got a couple frags, and they got out the Killjoy ultimate, which is like, I mean, that's just a triple threat if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
From a round that you didn't buy into that heavily, I'll take that every single day of the week. This next round, though, their cash still not exactly the greatest. They got the damage in, but they're going to have to scrap something together. And, I mean, we've seen them win eco rounds before. They had an extremely influential one earlier on their defensive half. But doing the same here is going to be, I mean, just as tough of a task as it was before. But winning it at all could be huge for them. You can tell they're keeping enough cash in the bank to where they're going to have a bye next round regardless. But like I said, this is about changing the momentum. This is about changing up the pace of where this game's going right now. Because right now, it just screams UC Irvine. For UT Dallas, any amount of momentum in this round is momentum that could carry them all the way to a map 3.
Oh, beautiful owl drone here. Spots 3 over and long, and June with that swing on to 2, just 2 health. No way that they're getting away from that one, but Nibbler is here to support. Spike has been dropped, and another will be claimed as Nibbler picks up 2. And now it's all down to Cola, all alone in Hookah. Position revealed and everything. I mean, a miracle wouldn't even suffice here. You would need a divine intervention to make that happen and stop UC Irvine from claiming this lead.
Great round by UC Irvine. I mean, all around, Nibbler and June on this B side have just been a ridiculously powerful dynamic duo and changed up the dynamic of this map literally entirely just by shifting them over. And this is what I was talking about. When UC Irvine find a setup that they like, find a setup that actually works for them, they look a lot better and they're playing to the composition strengths. I have very few gripes, and to both these teams, whenever I ask for an adaptation, they've given it to me. Huge pat on the back. I feel like a proud father. A little bit young to do that, but you know, 21. You say they say you're never too young.
I don't know if that's what they're referring to, Dor. Nibbler never too young to pick up another frag, though. We're gonna just blow past that, as already the lurking Cypher has been dispatched over by Fountain. Danichi with so much map positioning too. Such an aggressive push into Showers right now, and you have to respect this if you're UT Dallas. That Altor picked up in everything. Hunter's Fury just to see if anyone was hanging around, and woo, second tag not quite coming through, but damage has been done. Information has been gained. And UT Dallas, they need this round. They've bought into it. And a reminder, even if they go for the save, they will not be flush with cash as the economy changes have been implemented. So they need to find a way to clutch this store. Hunter's Fury and From the Shadows, a lot of information potentially available for them, but such an uphill battle.
I mean, it's already a tough round here. UT Dallas down 2 men. It's not just a shot to the head anymore. It's a shot to the confidence. They've got to pull it back. Yakuza's got one to open it up on a Danichi. Slowly evening up the numbers. Rolling Thunder by Nacho. It's going to stop the push, but it wasn't used for the recontest, which is honestly where it would have been a lot more valuable. Sylph opening things up as well. Split it out yet again. Just one player left. Nacho comes in and sprays down the remaining 2 members of UT Dallas to put us to a game point. UC Irvine says they're done playing around.
UC Irvine 6 rounds in a row after losing 9 in a row. Now they just need 1 more to wrap this series up and guarantee themselves a spot in the tournament bracket on Saturday. They're poised beautifully to do so, though. Weapon advantage at the ready. Still hanging on to that from the shadows. UT Dallas, they've got no shortage of tools themselves. They will buy into this, force it up as they have no other choice. Showstopper and running back available. If they want to hard force the site, they can, and they'll even open it up with a pick.
Big stuff so far from Adolfo. Lamb put in the work that they did at the end of last half. Spotted out by the chickens. Not the end of the world yet. UT Dallas, remember, not only do they need to win this round, they need to win it with players alive. They need to carry weapons into former rounds. So, big flank, huge from the shadows. Now they need to capitalize. They've evened up the numbers. Fake teleport trick being pulled out. It's relatively obvious, though. The attackers who've gotten on site, they've gotten a plant down. They've just got to win the 3v2. They're going to have a little bit of time to set up for the post plant here, but Nacho might just close out one more round if they don't get in those positions quick.
And look how much utility Nacho still had. Fault line, Aftershock, 2 flashes for this retake. I'm not certain if Sylph still has the paranoia, but if he was able to clear out U-Haul with that, this is going to be so difficult. Yeah, paranoia at the ready. It's going straight into U-Haul the second this drone has been dispatched. Zolfo is playing further back, though, so he's not going to get immediately punished. And Nacho is all alone on this side. Has to try and clear out showers by himself. The lockdown going into U-Haul. Very difficult to contend with. I don't believe he can be wall banged from there. Yakuza, he has to contest this defuse. A beautiful headshot. Goes for the reload. There's not enough time, even if John could make that kill happen. And UT Dallas, they'll lose all their guns and all their players, but they won't lose the map just yet.
It's so bittersweet. I mean, it feels like they're just delaying the inevitable to buy. It's piecemeal, but it's their fault. They've got rifles. They've got util, but it's just going to be as difficult as it was last time. Colo with the only realistically valuable ultimate in the server. It's not to say Yakuza can't find any with this from the shadows, but when we're talking about just finding the frags at the beginning of the rounds, which clearly has been a very, very important part of this match so far, no one's going to be better at it than that showstopper. There is skill for Danichi, though, an operator. We haven't seen this in a long time from UC Irvine. It could be the gut check that they need to close this thing out, or it could be the death of them that brings them into overtime. UT Dallas are eyeballing up this B site right now. Not fully committed to it yet, but it may just be where this match is decided.
And this operator can be very bittersweet if UT Dallas are able to get onto the B site, because you put that operator on your Phoenix, onto Danichi. That is very mix-matched for the retake, should you have to retake on the B site. The Owl Drum spots June, doesn't get the tag, and June will just avoid any pressure there from the showstopper. Cola's just going to chuck it into the back, just try and keep UC Irvine at bay, but June not dissuaded thus far. Already finding the one on the Yakuza, and Cola is flashed, can't swing, has to go for a delayed one, and Danichi's at the ready, has upgraded to a rifle to make this happen. Adolfo alone in Garden, and Lamb alone in Hookah. They cannot cover each other effectively. They just have to wait for the tap onto... Oh, wait, no. The spike hasn't even been planted. It's been dropped. UC Irvine, they have this lockdown door. Lamb's all alone, and I'm not even sure that Lamb is currently connected to the lobby. They were having connection issues earlier. Oh, okay, they're back. They're back, but there's just not enough time. No chance for Lamb. He'll go down and grab one, but UC Irvine ultimately wrap it up. 2-0, a much better showing from UT Dallas, but they won't be able to send us to a third map. Instead, it's Irvine earning their spot in the tournament on Saturday.
I'm so proud of both of these teams. Honestly, the best game of Valorant we've seen so far yet at CF1, bar none. Some of the most exciting Valorant I've gotten to watch from both sides. Yeah. Ridiculously good game all around. UT Dallas, incredible plays. UC Irvine, just as much so. Nibbler, dead quiet the entirety of the first half after they lost those 6 rounds. Recognized, got the confidence back, started finding first bloods all over the place. I'm pretty sure all 4 of those came from the second half of the game where they really stepped it up. Cola and Lamb just lit a fire under UT Dallas halfway through that first half. Really brought the entire thing together. Adolfo, great stuff all around. I still think Sylph played a fantastic supporting Omen. I think real key piece to the team so far for UC Irvine. I think everybody in this lobby was giving it their all. The adaptations were there, the rounds were there. And honestly, if game 1 had went the same as that one, I have no clue who comes out on top here. I mean, we talk a lot in esports about like, oh, 3-0, but it was close, 2-0, but this is 2-0, and that's as close as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic jobs from both sides, and huge congratulations to UC Irvine.
Yeah, UC Irvine, they will qualify now, and I believe we're still waiting on an update for the KSU game, but regardless, one of those teams is coming out of this at 1-1, so it's going to be nail-biting now for UT Dallas. They had a great showing on Bind. If they can adapt, if they can come into whatever their next match would be with everything. Actually, I do have an update. KSU has won 2-0, so UCI won, so UTD will play a tiebreaker on Wednesday against KSU. So now UTD, it's not over for them, right? Top 2 out of this group will go on to that bracket play, but they've got to play against KSU. And like you were saying earlier, Dora, we saw KSU last week. They look pretty dang good.
Absolutely. And you know what? Of course, we're going to be catching those games. There's more action coming up tomorrow, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for more Conference 1 Valorant action. We'll be getting another exciting match. Everybody's heading into playoffs. These seedings are finally getting decided. And this is where the rubber hits the road, Paul. This is where it gets exciting.
Oh, yeah, and make sure you guys are tuned in to the action tomorrow. Like Dora said, it's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on this very Twitch channel. And make sure you head over to the Twitter to, make sure you get all of the updates here. CF1 Esports on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be it for myself, Dor, and all of us here at CF1. But we will see you tomorrow. Well, not necessarily bright and early. We'll see you tomorrow evening for some more Choice Collegiate Valorant.
Times we had, I see it now, I see it now. Real love, now I'll break through to show to you that I'm more good than I am bad. I work it out, I work it out. And I'll be somewhere that you need me, and I'll be holding my breath, waiting for you to show.